So the Jaguars' last game of the season is tomorrow. Thank God. I think the whole entire Jaguars fan base is collectively very, very happy this season is about to be over. And obviously, the Jaguars a few weeks ago fired Urban Meyer. We're still waiting to hear word from about Trent Baalke, whether he's going to be gone or not. But for those that don't know, because I know I've discussed this on my channel before, but there's might be some people that this is the first video they've ever watched of me, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat the fact that the NFL created a new rule this year where you're actually able to interview candidates before the season is over, which is the first time ever. They're kind of on a tryout basis when it comes to that, so they're testing it out to kind of see how it works. But the Jaguars are kind of reaping the benefits of that because obviously we don't have a head coach. Us and the Raiders don't have a head coach. So we actually get to test the waters a little bit and interview some people. And the Jaguars have done that. So in this video, I made a video a few weeks ago describing each candidate pretty much in depth. But this video, I kind of want to discuss who we've interviewed, who we haven't interviewed, who's declined interviews, and all that stuff. So there's a total of 9 different guys the Jaguars wanted to talk to. The first 2 are former head coaches, guys that have been in the league that do not have jobs right now, and that is former Eagles head coach Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl over there, and also former Colts and Lions head coach Jim Caldwell. Doug Peterson already interviewed with the Jaguars. He had his interview on Thursday, December 30th, and Jim Caldwell had his on Tuesday, January 4th. So those ones are done, and those ones are in the books. The next one that the Jaguars already interviewed is former Jets head coach and current Buccaneers defensive coordinator, and that's Todd Bowles. He interviewed this week, Monday, January 3rd, so that one is in the books. Next up is the Jaguars had 2 in one day. Sticking to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Jaguars interviewed offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, former Jaguars quarterback, first-round pick Byron Leftwich, and on the same day they also interviewed offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, which these are kind of go hand in hand with each other because they're very, very similar when it comes to kind of the demographics behind them. Both of them made their name in the NFL as players, as backup quarterbacks. Both of them hung around in the league a little bit for that. Both of them kind of fit that younger, up-and-coming coaching profile, and both these guys are offensive type of guys. So both obviously lead pretty successful offenses, and both these names are pretty intriguing. I know for myself, I think my number 1 candidate is Doug Peterson. Number 2 would probably be Kellen Moore. I really like a lot of the stuff that Kellen Moore has to offer. And I know a lot of Jaguar fans really like the Byron Leftwich, potential Byron Leftwich hiring. But me, I'm probably more on the Kellen Moore thing. And if you guys want to watch a Byron Leftwich video, I did a full video on him on the channel, him and Doug Peterson, so you guys can go back and watch that. So both of those interviews happened Friday, January 7th between Byron Leftwich and Kellen Moore. Next up is Packers offensive coordinator and former Jaguars offensive coordinator Nate Hackett. He is scheduled to interview with the Jaguars next week during the Packers bye week. There's not a day of next week confirmed just yet, but we do know that's going to happen next week. And a couple of guys, Matt Eberflus was basically, he's not interviewing this week because he said that he's kind of too busy focusing on playing the Jaguars instead of actually interviewing for the Jaguars. He hasn't shot down the fact that he may not be interested or not. I do believe he's interested, but as it stands right now, the Colts are not in the playoffs. They do have to win on Sunday to get in, so that's kind of where their focus is at. We'll see kind of when he does wind up interviewing for the Jaguars, if it comes out to be next week or if it's going to just be after the playoffs wrap up or after they're out of it. Next up is defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, Dan Quinn, former Atlanta Falcons head coach who led them over to the Super Bowl. He basically said, I'm not interviewing during the season. I'm putting all my focus on the Dallas Cowboys, and this is my focus right now. So I believe if he does interview, it would probably be after the season wraps up, and maybe he's just flat out not interested in the Jaguars job. I say this because Dan Quinn probably has one more head coaching opportunity left, and maybe the Jaguars, when he looks at it, he says, you know what, maybe this isn't the best situation for me. He did have a lot of success for the Seattle Seahawks as defensive coordinator, so maybe that would be more of an opportunity that he's hoping would open up for him. But yeah, as of right now, Dan Quinn, there is no scheduled date for him. He's probably going to wait for the Dallas Cowboys to be out of the playoffs in order for him to interview. And then the last name that I bring up is not a popular name amongst Jaguar fans whatsoever, and that is former Houston Texans head coach and current Alabama offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien. Now, he is currently set to play in a national championship game on Monday, Alabama versus Georgia. And after that, he will interview with the Jaguars. And it's interesting with this one because this one leaked out that that Trent Baalke really last weekend, like 6 days ago, that Trent Baalke is really pushing Shad Khan to interview him. And then as the days went on, there was nothing about the Jaguars scheduled to interview him. And I was getting a little bit excited because I was like, look, if Shad Khan is not going to interview him, even though Trent Baalke really wants him to, maybe Trent Baalke really is on his way out. And then it got confirmed yesterday that, yeah, he's waiting until after the national championship game. And Bill O'Brien, to me, he's really not that bad of a coach. I mean, I think I view him a lot better than other people because he led the Texans to multiple AFC titles, AFC South titles, I should say. He was able to develop his rookie quarterback out of Clemson, unlike the Jaguars were able to do with our rookie quarterback out of Clemson. He's won some games over there, but his main problem was that he was not able to really mend, and prosper when it comes to relationships with his own players, and particularly star players. The relationship with DeAndre Hopkins went south, and I don't know what Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson's was more aimed at kind of the front office, but a lot of people found a hard time really getting along with Bill O'Brien. And with the Jaguars situation right now is, we need likable guys, man. We need guys that, they may not be Gus Bradley, let's hold hands and play patty cake all day, but we need guys that are at least respectable, command respect, and not any kind of, D-bags that come in here and just, rub everybody the wrong way. And also, Bill O'Brien was playing head coach and GM, and he was a terrible GM. Obviously, trading away DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson in the second. He traded 2 first-round picks away for Laramie Tunsil. This last draft, the 2021 NFL draft, they didn't have a draft pick until the 3rd round. But he did say that when he comes back, he doesn't want anything to do with personnel stuff, which I don't blame him because he failed at. But at least he knows that he was not very good at that. Bill O'Brien's set to interview after the bye week. And, my dream scenario as a Jags fan is Doug Peterson 1 and probably Kellen Moore is my number 2. Those are my favorite guys. The people that I really do like this list of candidates. The only people I really would not want is Todd Bowles is one, because look, he took over a Jets team that, fired Rex Ryan, and he left the Jets in a worse place than when he took it over, and his record indicates that too. He didn't have the greatest record. And also, I don't like Dan Quinn. I wouldn't want him in here. He's just kind of boring. I don't know. And obviously his offense was more Kyle Shanahan out there doing stuff. So I wouldn't want that. And obviously Bill O'Brien, like I said, I think he's a pretty good coach, but he would not fit in right with the Jaguar situation right now. And obviously, on top of all that, Trent Baalke, get him out of here. I'm with all you other clowns when I say get Trent Baalke out of here. And hopefully, this video is being filmed Saturday, 5:27 p.m. Hopefully, this time tomorrow, he's out of here. So we'll see. But yeah, and I do want to make a note. A couple interesting names that are not on this list. Eric Bieniemy, no one reached out to him, so who knows with that one. Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, he was a hot name last year, not really, I guess, so much this year. And also Josh McDaniels is not on here. So just a few names of note. We'll see when other teams release coaches if they try to go after those guys. So who knows? But yeah, those are kind of my updates on the coaching search. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know who your guys' favorite candidates are. And with all that said, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Go Jags, fire Trent Baalke.